Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, April the 10th, and we are here to look at the new releases that are being set into the wild in the book world. And on Wednesdays, we look at romance. Every day of the week, we look at a different genre. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. On Wednesdays, today, we look at romance. Thursdays, tomorrow, we look at fantasy and science fiction. And Friday is freeform. We look at the things we might have missed that look interesting or more cozy mysteries because there's always a lot of them. Mary says, "Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Romance is in the air. It is in the air. It is going to be a good day." Let's see. Quick announcements before we jump in. No sprints tonight on this channel. I do them on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. So no sprints tonight, but they are tomorrow night and then on Saturday afternoon. Let us get rid of this banner and we will jump in. Let's see which way. Maybe we'll start here. Okay. No, not there. That one. Oh, right. Hang on a second. I think we lost one. Zutolo, we have missed one. There it is. All right, so we'll get back to that one. Let's go here. All right, Weekends with You by Alexandra Page. This is a romantic debut told over the course of 1 year in monthly weekend installments about found family, new love, and the magic of London. Flowers have always been the best communicators. They've mastered falling over one another in the perfect way to announce exactly what they need: sunlight, water, space. They do not rush. They do not bloom before their time. They do not take without giving in return. They are nothing like the rest of London. That was really forcing the metaphor, but between trying to keep her North London flower shop, the Lotus, afloat and falling for a flatmate, Lucy Bernstein is going to have to rethink everything she knows about creative arrangements. Unwillingly becoming one of eight flatmates in a quirky warehouse conversion would have been difficult enough without any romantic entanglements. But when Lucy lays eyes on Henry Baker, the traveling photographer who only comes home 12 weekends a year, she knows her hands will be full with more than just posies. As each weekend progresses, Lucy also finds herself unexpectedly falling for all her new flatmates, along with this bustling but ultimately sweeter home. Can Lucy learn from the flower she tends to and bravely reach for all she needs to bloom? Okay, I'm not quite sure where that's going. Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver is very big in the younger generation romance readers. If you've read Chestnut Springs, this is apparently a new series. Rosie Belmont has been driving me wild for years. The good kind of wild, the bad kind of wild, but mostly the kind of wild that comes with wanting your best friend's little sister. Oh, and knowing you can't have her. After living in the city, she comes blasting back into Rose Hill like a storm. Beautiful, messy, and chaotic. And one wide eyed, desperate plea for a job is all it takes for me to hire her. Forbes may have labeled me the world's hottest billionaire, but all I care about is opening my new recording studio, something that comes to a screeching halt when I end up face to face with a young girl who claims I'm her biological father. Now I spend my days balancing business with parenting and a sullen 12-year-old, all while trying desperately to keep my hands the hell off my best friend's little sister. I vow to keep Rosie at arm's length. I try to stick to scowls and grumpy one-liners, but with her, sparring is merely foreplay, friction that turns to blistering heat. I know damn well I shouldn't cross that line. But shouldn't and can't are two very different things, and the only thing I truly can't do is resist her. So many tropes there. Going down to Richmond tomorrow to meet my new great granddaughter for the first time. Plus, my daughter is there from Florida, so I get to see her as well. A red banner day for sure. Absolutely. That was Annie. Am I remembering that right? Oh, that is going to be so wonderful. Wake Me Most Wickedly by Felicia Grossman, second in the Once Upon the East End series. Now, something's wonky here. Is it his neck? He's wearing a yarmulke, so that's interesting. I don't know. Something's wonky there. Physically, but with the body shaping. Let's see. In this clever reimagining of Snow White, where a handsome businessman will do anything to win the heart of the only woman he cannot have. Solomon Weiss has little interest in power, but to repay the half brother who raised him, he pursues money, influence, and now a respectable wife. That is, until outcast Hannah Moses saves his life, and Saul finds himself helplessly drawn to the beautiful pawnshop owner. Forever tainted by her parents' crimes, Hannah sees only a villain when she looks in the mirror. No one a prince would choose. To survive, she must care for herself, even if that means illegally hunting down whatever her clients wish. So no matter how fair or charming she finds Saul, he belongs to a world far too distant from her own. Only neither can resist their desires, and each meeting weakens Hannah's resolve to stay away. But when Hannah discovers a shocking betrayal in Saul's inner circle, can she convince him to trust her, or will fear and doubt poison their love for good? I don't really see the Snow Whiteness in this. I do like the Jewishness of it. I'm intrigued. I would check out the writing. You don't see too many of those, so PK, you have a terrific memory. I'm always so impressed. Oh, you'd be surprised. I can't remember. I just remember recent things. Yes, I noticed it right away when you first called up that cover. Wonky for sure. There's something in the neck. There's something weird. Until It Was Love, a complicated situationship. A situationship rom-com. It wouldn't be complicated and be it has to be complicated to have a story written about it. But a situationship, I've not heard that before. Maybe it's a new thing. This is by Pippa Grant. There are a million reasons why I shouldn't agree to date Fletcher Huxley. He's a growly. This is sorry. This is an illustrated hardback that features hundreds of author notes and annotations, and an exclusive bonus scene found nowhere else. Interesting. There are a million reasons why I shouldn't agree to date Fletcher Huxley. He's a growly faced, so this is going to be Grumpy Sunshine, stubborn streaked international rugby legend trying to revive his flailing career in the US after being canned by his team overseas. While he might have the good kind of thunder thighs, intriguing tattoos, the good kind, and booty of steel, he also holds the top position on my very short nemesis list, thanks to what happened the first time we met. Plus, his mustache is as terrible as the reason he's picked me to be the woman he wants to date. But he has one big check mark in the why this date is a good idea column. He's my brother's new teammate. They already hate each other. And my brother has made an unfortunate habit of interfering with my love life recently. So, a revenge date with Fletcher to make my brother mad while letting. This is so many good reasons here. While letting Fletcher think this date is merely for the good of the team, yep, I'm in. I'm moving to London for work in a month, and it's just one date. What could possibly go wrong? And we don't have any samples to look at the annotations. Okay. Wait, what? I had this up twice? No. The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. Yep, good date. A struggling event planner and a sinfully hot astronaut must decide if their fake relationship is worth a shot at happily ever after. This is a debut. Risk averse event planner Amory Price is jobless, newly single, and about to lose her apartment. With no choice but to gamble on her shaky startup, the last thing she needed was to run into her smug ex and his new, less complicated girlfriend at Amory's favorite coffee shop. Panicked, she pretends to be dating the annoyingly sexy man she met by spilling Americano all over his abs. He plays along for a price. Half the single men in Houston claim to be astronauts, but Vincent Rogers turns out to be the real deal. What started as a one off lie morphs into a plan. For the 3 months leading up to his mission, Amory will play Vincent's doting partner in front of his loving but overly invested family. In exchange, she gets a rent free room in his house and can put every penny toward her struggling business. What Amory doesn't plan for is Vincent's gravitational pull. While her mind tells her a future with this astronaut is too unpredictable, her heart says he's exactly what she needs. As their time together counts down, Amory must decide if she'll settle for the safe life or shoot for the stars. It always goes back to that one. Sweet Mead for Lady Martine. This is a Below the Salt, book number 7 by Elizabeth Rose. There is a whole lot of explanation here. We are probably not going to read the whole thing here. Destiny brings them together, but status rip them apart. The innkeeper. Innkeeper David Stone's worries are abundant and his troubles many. When an entourage of nobles enters his establishment one stormy night, his life turns upside down. His tavern is suddenly overcrowded and he is short on help. Now a pregnant noblewoman is giving birth on his bed. One of the nobles, Lady Martine, takes his interest, fainting in his arms after she helps his mother deliver a baby. Being so close and even touching a noblewoman is something that doesn't usually happen to a commoner like David. The woman's essence is as sweet as roses, and her skin is as smooth as silk. Looking at the beautiful angel in his arms, he can't stop wondering what it would be like to kiss her. But a thought like this is only going to get him in deep trouble, etc., etc. So medieval, which we knew from the cover. And Below the Salt and all that jazz. Interesting. And seventh in series, so I'm kind of intrigued. We shall see. I've got my mindset on brew. That kind of pun is usually saved for cozy mysteries. What are you doing? This is by Stephanie Jane. A down on her luck craft beer brewer and her privileged new boss clash as they work together to save a quirky brew pub in this enemies to lovers workplace rom-com. There's your tropes. Kat Malone is left cash strapped after a job loss and a bad breakup. Pro tip. Never offer to pay living expenses for a freeloading poetry major. Well, duh. When she discovers a surprising new career path, craft beer brewer. When the brew pub is sold, the new owner places his light on experienced son in charge of the pub. Ryan is as basic as a pale lager and aims to turn quirky resistance into a run-of-the-mill sports bar. Worse, he won't consider Kat for the position of brewer's assistant, the job she's been promised by the previous owners. Despite clashes between Kat and Ryan, he confides that resistance is in financial trouble and that drastic changes will be needed if the pub has any hope of survival. Forced to collaborate, Kat realizes Ryan isn't as bland as she assumed. He might even be exactly what she's been craving. But just as Ryan promises Kat a true partnership in the face of his father's opposition, Kat is offered the opportunity of a lifetime. Marrying the beer used to be Kat's only goal, but can she craft a brew for her life that allows her to have it all? I don't know if the romance reading target audience is into craft brew stuff. Only time will tell. How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwang. Helen Zhang hasn't seen Grant Shepard once in the 13 years since the tragic accident that bound their lives together forever. Now a best-selling author, Helen pours everything into her career. She's even scored a coveted spot in the writer's room of the TV adaptation of her popular young adult novels, and if she can hide her imposter syndrome and overcome her writer's block, surely the rest of her life will fall into place too. LA is the fresh start she needs. After all, no one knows her there, except dot dot dot. Grant has done everything in his power to move on from the past, including building a life across the country. And while the panic attacks have never quite gone away, he's well liked around the town as a screenwriter. He knows he shouldn't have taken the job on Helen's show, but it will open doors to developing his own projects that he just can't pass up. Grant's exactly as Helen remembers him, charming, funny, popular, and lovable in ways that she's never been. And Helen's exactly as Grant remembers too, brilliant, beautiful, closed off. But working together is messy and electrifying, and Helen's parents, who have never forgiven Grant, have no idea he's in the picture at all. When secrets come to light, they must reckon with the fact that theirs was never meant to be any kind of love story. And yet, the key to making peace with their past and themselves just lie in holding might just lie in holding on to each other in the present. Okay. Sounds like as teenagers, somebody died because of them. Probably a younger sister. Craft brew angle doesn't grab me. Yeah, it's a weird combination with a romance book. Here Comes My Earl. Games Earl's Play by Anna Bradley. This is fifth in that series. Euphemia Templeton can't wait to put the London season behind her forever, but before she can retire to the country in blessed obscurity, she has one final promise to keep. She must find a proper match for Lady Harriet Fairmont, who is embarking on her second season. Matchmaking is easy for a lady with Fee's skills, but when Harriet's elder brother James, the arrogant, infuriating, and far too handsome Earl of Fairmont, accompanies his sister to London, she soon has cause to regret her promise. James doesn't believe in matchmaking. He doesn't approve of Harriet's favored swain, and most of all, he doesn't trust Euphemia Templeton, no matter how clever she is or how charmingly her lips purse when he argues with her. James and Fee challenge each other at every turn, and when a battle of wills becomes a battle for hearts, will Fee discover the only lady in London she can't successfully match is herself? Probably. Finally found my cowboy, The Murphys of Meadow Valley, Book 2 by A.J. Pine. Nothing mends the heart quite like a cowboy. Dancer Beth Spence finally gets a shot at her dream, auditioning for the Radio City Music Hall Rockettes. But her audition concludes with a torn Achilles tendon and possibly the end of her dance career. When her sister Delaney flies her to Meadow Valley, California to recuperate, she is reluctant to go, but out of options. Beth has no idea that Delaney has set her up with a job managing widower Eli Murphy's veterinary clinic while staying in the guest house on his ranch. Beth and Eli's attraction is undeniable, but Beth has every intention of making a full recovery and heading back to New York. Eli has no intention of loving and losing again. Too bad their hearts have other plans. Keeps going. Every time you hear that song by Jenna Voris. They say never meet your idols, but nothing about digging up their deepest secrets. 17-year-old aspiring journalist Darren Purchase has been a lifelong fan of country music legend Deckley Castle, who's as famous for her classic hits as she is for her partnership with songwriter McKinley Hooper, the same McKinley who mysteriously backed out of the limelight at the height of their careers, never to be heard from again. Now Deckley's televised funeral marks the unveiling of her long-awaited time capsule. But when it's revealed to be empty, a trail of scavenger hunt clues unfolds, leading to a whopping cash prize for whoever finds the real capsule. Darren knows there's a story there, and she's going to be the one to break it, even if it means spontaneous road trip with her coworker Kendall. Flashback to 1963, when a young runway Deckley has her sights set on fame and glory. Blah blah. Told in alternating perspectives, every time you hear that song is a beautiful tale told across lifetimes. There's more to Deckley's story than that Darren ever could have guessed, but the real story she has to tell is her own. I don't know if that's actually a romance. It sounds more women's fiction. Cold Hearted Casanova by L.J. Shen, Cruel Castaways series. Riggs Bates may be a billionaire, but he knows money can't buy happiness. He keeps his financial status a secret and takes his women the same way he takes his meals. A different one 3 times a day. Oh my God. That's until he's caught sleeping with a married newswoman by none other than her ambitious assistant. Daphne, Duffy Markham, wants 2 things in life: marry well and stay in the States. So when her almost fiance takes off to find himself and her work visa approaches expiration, Duffy resorts to the only thing she has left: blackmail. Luckily, Riggs needs an excuse to stay in New York as badly as she does, so their first meeting quickly leads to a begrudging engagement. That's all kinds of, that's not good for relationships. Oy. Charmed by a Wily Lass by Amy Jarecki, 6th in the McGalloways. Thrust into the role of Viscount Berwick, Kenneth arrives in London to investigate the true cause of his brother's death. The man might have died in his bed, but Kenneth does not agree with the doctor's findings. As the new Viscount begins to piece together the last days of his brother's life, he doesn't expect to be bamboozled by Lady Modesty McGalloway, nor does he want the lass impeding his quest. All her life, Modesty has been underestimated because of her flaming red hair and full face of freckles. When Viscount Berwick thinks her daft enough not to notice when he borrows her diamond hair comb, she's determined to get it back. But once she learns his reason for the theft, the tide turns. Intrigued by a chance to prove her worth, Modesty offers Kenneth an ultimatum he cannot refuse, one that unexpectedly leads down the path of danger, not only to her person, but to her heart. We don't have enough time. The bell has rung. So we're going to look at some quick titles here. Breakaway, Beyond the Playbook #2 by Grace Riley. This is a coach's daughter college sports romance. In the very popular hockey type of romances. And that one, luckily, was a duplicate. Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. 2 friends battle feelings for each other as they work together to renovate a school bus into a home. Everything is, if you look at these blurbs, so many are the viral TikTok authors. And that is it. Time for a couple. We got to most. And I'm going to check out a couple. Oh, not a commercial. There we go. I'm going to check out that Jewish one with the weird neck and that medieval one. Mary said, love the cover of Bradley's book. Yep. And fast this morning. I know. Hope to see you later. But meanwhile, have a great day. And thanks so much. You are welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. You are such a good support. And I love you. All right. Well, hope you guys have a good Wednesday. Again, no sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday, but I do them on Tuesday and Thursday evening. So we will have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then again on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow's morning show will be fantasy science fiction. So if you're able to pop in, if you can't watch in during the live, I do repost these new release videos so that you can watch them later at your leisure because we need to know what's out there. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.